It's another Sunday afternoon, so you know what that means. It's Rising Q's time. First up is a question about every pundit's favorite term, electability.
All right, so here we go from Krylin Grumpyman.
Great name.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've got a Rising Keys for you and Saagar. Has the electability candidate ever won the election? Is that even a thing, Saagar?
Let's try and think. Okay, so Al Gore, no, that didn't work. John Kerry, that didn't work. Michael Dukakis, that didn't work. Well, I guess Hillary Clinton, that didn't
I don't know whether Dukakis was the electability candidate.
Let me think
Bill
about
Clinton
the right.
Was not an electability candidate.
Yeah, he was not, and same was Barack
Obama was not an electability candidate.
Yeah, that's right. Neither was Donald Trump, by the way.
Yeah, fair. Very much not.
Yeah. Who else? So who came? So Mitt Romney. Actually, no. You know, on the GOP side, it's the same thing. It was like, oh, if we just nominate Mitt Romney and the big tent conservatism, and like he'll just do free markets against Obama, and everybody will realize why they're wrong. Yeah, that didn't work out.
What about W? Was he the electability candidate?
It was a mixed bag. I mean, it was a bitter primary with John McCain, but generally it was like, oh, he's a red state governor, he's the son of the president, all of that. So it wasn't that he was necessarily electable, but I would say that one I wouldn't lump it.
What about Reagan? Was definitely not the electability candidate.
My God. I mean, the GOP never wanted him to run until he finally, beat it out in 1980, and then of course he won like 46 states or something like that.
Yeah. And I could. What about H.W. Bush? I'm not sure on that one.
He was no.
Yeah. 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 Okay. All right. What's next?
Second question from Mark Freeman, who we love. I just received an email from Tulsi's campaign. She's considering boycotting the next debate to shed light on the DNC corruption. Do you think it's a smart move, or should she attend and do her best to discuss it? P.S. Love you too. We love you too, Mark.
This was an Instagram cue, by the way, so we like those.
Yes.
By the way.
It was funny because we actually just spoke with Tulsi in that recent interview. And she is saying she's doing it to highlight DNC corruption. If I had to guess, I do think she's going to go to the debate. I think it's a bad idea to boycott the debate because she needs all the earned media that she can get. And she's just such a powerful voice, right? Like, she's such a powerful force on that stage whenever she goes after these other candidates, and she holds everybody to account on war, and she's willing to call out corruption. And she's the only one who just tells the truth over and over and over again. And so I would be really sad if she were to go. And I don't think it would be, Donald Trump boycotted a Republican debate in the 2016.
Right.
He's getting all the free media in the world.
Right. Well, that's the thing with Tulsi that I was going to say, too, is the media has basically shut her out. Yeah. The only time they do interviews with her, it's just like the same damn question about Syria, right? So this is one of the only chances she gets to be on the national stage. And we've talked about this before. I mean, she, in the second debate, had probably the most impactful moment of any of the debates when she raised Kamala's record in a really powerful way. Kamala has never recovered from that. Yeah, absolutely. And she's consistently, every time she's been on the stage, afterwards that night, she's been the #1 Googled candidate. So clearly people are interested in her. They want to hear more from her. I totally hear her point on DNC corruption. I think it's good that she's raising it. But personally, I hope to see her up there.
Yeah, same.
Let's see. We got one more.
Yes.
Saagar, you tweeted that right-wing media should take note on the left's focus on policy. What right-wing show do you think is doing the best on that front? To avoid an echo chamber, I tried Shapiro, but all I heard was the left repeated 400 times each segment.
Yeah, none. There's no right-wing media which is doing this well.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I've looked for it, and I think so much of it is just about calling out the hypocrisies of the left and calling out like free speech college students. And it's like, okay, the culture has run amok. You've told us that. What do you actually want to do about it? Right. What are you going to do on a policy level to actually fix it? Nothing. I'm so shocked. When I engage in left-wing YouTube, I was on Michael Brooks' show. We had a half-hour discussion about nationalism versus socialism and China, right? I mean, that doesn't happen on the right. People aren't trying to hash out. On the left, even on this show, we parse people's positions on Medicare for all. We're like, oh, Medicaid is one thing, Medicare for all, Medicare for all. What do these things actually mean? Labor plans, money and corruption plans. Nobody on the right actually cares about policy. And that's why when Donald Trump comes into office, what happens? Nothing. What is the one policy that they've actually been united and thought about? Tax cuts. Yeah. That's it. They never thought about trade policy. They never thought about welfare policy. They never thought about foreign policy. Everything just gets colored in the lines by the establishment.
By
and it's so
Paul
frustrating.
Ryan, basically.
By Paul Ryan and by other powers that be with 1980s ideas. And so the right, it would behoove them to actually start thinking about policy and having the kind of robust debates that they have on the left. I mean, I try to do that here whenever we talk about the right. Like, I try and say, like, what are people who are on the right, who are smart and who are thinking about this? What's their approach? That's why we had that interview with Senator Josh Hawley. I mean, look, you can think whatever you want about him, but he's actually offering a vision for how to rein in technology.
And there's really so little of that like deep thinking going on the right. I mean, I have to say it's been one of the things that's been exciting about this. The first time I've really engaged in YouTube or certainly done a show on YouTube. It's actually been really cool to see how much you guys respond to detailed policy, deep thinking, nuance. Like when we say something that isn't totally clear cut in black and white, you guys absorb it and you reflect it. That's actually awesome and super encouraging. It's been very energizing.
I thought it's impossible to go on television and have a real conversation.
Right.
I remember the first couple, like I went on Fox a couple times and I said something which was like right below the surface level, and it just
totally
flew across everybody else's radar. And this was something that, I mean, having this show and having this experience, it's amazing because you guys actually care. And like that matters a lot.
Yeah. Well, that was, I mean, my experience on cable news. It's often on in the background. Right. People aren't really paying attention. They're doing their thing, and so you could make like one simple point, and if you made it like 5 times, people might get it. Yeah. But we noticed that you guys really actually are listening and picking up on the arguments and the nuances of what is being said. You're, for better and for worse, you can be very critical, but we appreciate that too, and we're always listening. Speaking
of that, some of you guys were very upset after my Rudy Giuliani interview.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking about
that's right. Yeah, it's okay. They were like, why didn't you push back? I mean, look, I get it. I know most people who see Rudy Giuliani, they're like, they want him slapped on TV. That's what Chris Cuomo, MSNBC, and everybody else does. They're like, oh, you're just giving me a platform. No. So I will tell you, I am a former journalist. I guess I still am a journalist, but like I was only a journalist. And the way that you get people to talk and hang themselves with information is to just sit there, guide the conversation as best you can, and see what they're actually going to put out there. Right. And then after it's done, you dissect that. And look, if you go through that, I mean, the Romanian thing we talked about earlier on This Week, or all these other little claims and the timelines, is that whenever you're not just hammering and trying to fact check somebody in real time, you can get them to lay out something that will truly become the bane of their existence.
Yeah.
And so I understand why, from an entertainment perspective, you might want to see one thing, but that's just the way that I conduct myself during interviews. And by the way, I do this with everybody, regardless of whether I agree with them or not.
Which I think shows up in your style. I mean, usually when a Cuomo or most cable news anchors have someone like that on, they want to win the exchange. Right. That's the goal, is to win the exchange.
Because it's pure entertainment.
And you have a different goal, which is to try to get as much out of them as you possibly can. Somebody like Rudy, I mean, I've done this plenty of times with him before, and I think my style may be a little bit different, but if you go after him and you're just trying to fact check him, then he's on the defense, then he clams, then he's the type that if you just give him enough rope, he's going to do all the work himself. Which is exactly what happened. Right,
he's stayed out of timeline, which he's got very big problems because of these arrests. And I mean, look, does everybody want to see me beat up Rudy Giuliani? Like, what good is that going to do? For you, for the viewers, for information? That's nothing. That's just cable. That's more cable BS.
Yeah. Now, if we do a segment that's like, we're going to debate this person,
that's totally different.
That's a different deal. But when you have a big newsmaker, you just want to get as much out of them as you possibly can. And like you said, I think your style is pretty consistent there, whether it's on the left or the right. So there you go. Thank you guys always for watching. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.